Good evening and welcome to this special edition of Wealth Creation through Industrialization. I am Hadiza Olaoshibiko. I say special edition because on today's program, we will be showing you the official launch of Nigeria's Industrial Revolution Plan, NIRP, and the National Enterprise Development Program, NEDEP, of the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment as part of President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan's transformation agenda. The two laudable projects underscores the federal government's determination to actualize and expand not only the nation's industrial base, but also to provide employment for the citizenry and increase the consumptive capacity of Nigerians, especially made in Nigerian products. The event, which took place at the Banquet Hall State House, Abuja, was not just a launch. It was also meant to showcase the success story of the collaborative efforts between the Bank of Industry, BOI, the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, SMEDAN, and the Industrial Training Fund, ITF. To kickstart the program, the president took a tour of the made-in-Nigerian items that were on display. They ranged from cars manufactured by Innoson in Inewi, Anambra State, and also armored vehicles by Proforce in Shagamu, Ogun State. We also had fabrics, plastic products, leather materials, machineries, cosmetics, and many more. Presentations by Nollywood stars also added color to the event. Do stay tuned as we bring you the package. The Nigerian Industrial Revolution Plan, NIRP, and National Enterprise Development Program, NEDEP, are two-in-one projects tailored to strategically transform the Nigeria's industrial space. The project, which is championed by the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Mr. Olusegun Aganga, as part of the transformation agenda of Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, is expected to effect an inclusive growth and development in Nigeria's economy through its holistic approach. According to Mr. Olusegun Aganga, in his welcome address at the launch of the NIRP and NEDEP project, he left no one in doubt as to why the country has to industrialize.
Some of its key features include moving the SMEs from informal to formal sector by registering them as cooperatives. It involves changing the structure of our delivery structure, meaning that today we will now have the state SME councils working closely with the National SME Council, which according to the policy is chaired by the Vice President of the Federation of Nigeria. We have restructured the delivering agencies. So for the first time in Nigeria, we have Bank of Industry, SMEDAN, and ITF working together on one single program, delivering growth in that sector. In addition to that, Bank of Industry has also had to be reorganized. They have signed agreements with a number of microfinance institutions that will be supporting them. But in addition to that, they've come up with the bottom of the pyramid model where they can lend to the grassroots. They can lend to our people without demanding for the collateral by registering them as cooperatives and making sure that they cross-guarantee each other. Their success rate is much higher because SMEDAN and the private sector will work with the enterprises, with the cooperatives, make sure they have bankable business plans before they approach Bank of Industry. And Bank of Industry is doing that not only directly, but through some microfinance institutions that they have signed agreement with. We've had to reform ITF as well as part of that process. As of date, in the last 2 months, we have created 10,000 cooperatives in the country. And BOI is now funding them. It's looking at business plans and funding them. My plan is that I want to create 50,000 of those every year. 50,000 at 20,000 means that a minimum direct employment of 1 million people per annum will be created by NEDEP. That is our goal and aspiration. We have identified 7 factors under the Nigeria Industrial Revolution Plan, which this country must focus on if we must industrialize and be competitive at the same time. This includes, of course, access to affordable finance. It includes skills, industrial skills development. That's why we're reforming the ITF. It includes infrastructure, power. I've talked about that already. It includes standards. It includes, for the first time, linking innovation, science and technology to the industry. Today, we have a lot of research work done in our universities, but there's no link to the market sector. It's not market-driven. To make it work, we must improve our investment climate and business climate. And finally, we must consume what we produce, which means that local patronage is a policy that we must adhere to strictly. We must consume what we produce as a country. Those are the 7 points that make the difference.
Several goodwill messages by representatives of the organized private sector showed a clear support for the programs.
NASME has been partnering with the ministry for quite some time, and we are very happy that we are here today to witness this important inauguration. With the launching of the NEDEP program and the grassroots spread of NASME membership across the country, we are going to use our nationwide membership network to promote the ideas and the vision of NEDEP. We are going to work with all the stakeholders, as I mentioned, to make success of this laudable initiative. And on behalf of our Board of Trustees, the Governing Council, and the entire membership NASME members, I would like to commend Mr. President and the Honorable Minister of Industry and Trade Investment for this wonderful initiative, and to pledge NASME support and loyalty to ensure the success of the program.
I want to congratulate our dear President and friends of the manufacturing sector in this country. President, for these landmark initiatives, the initiative which is articulating very, very clear and unambiguous path to industrialization and enterprise development in our great country. We note with satisfaction the commitment of the Nigerian Industrial Revolution Plan to operationalize a synergy between all relevant government ministries, departments and agencies, and also with the private sector. I must say, this is the first time in recent times that we have had such a synergy, and I want to congratulate Mr. President. On our part, our firm commitment, I assure you of our continued support. My representatives of the various committees will play their role.
There were also strong commitments from the foremost industrialist, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, who pledged his support and that of other industrialists.
Mr. President, sir, I'm really very happy to say that with what I've had today with this launching, it means that, yes, the days of importing poverty and exporting jobs in our country are numbered. And I think we're on the way there. I mean, it's something that can be done. America was actually built by 5 individuals. So if 5 individuals can build America, I cannot see why we, the entrepreneurs in Nigeria, mind you, 60% of sub-Saharan African entrepreneurs are in Nigeria. This thing could be done. I mean, I don't know why even people are doubting that, yes, we can meet up. I think in the next 4 years, Nigeria will actually do much, much better than our own expectations. Today, Your Excellency, Mr. President, you have actually set the ball rolling. I think the government, you have done your own bit. Now it is left for us in the private sector to do our own bit. But, Mr. President, sir, it's like what I said earlier on. If somebody had actually mentioned to me that, look, you had a dream of investing in agriculture, I would have said no. But today we are going to champion to be sure that in the next 4 to 5 years, we will not demand a single dollar for sugar, to import sugar. We'll produce it here locally. We're also going to produce rice locally, which I think We are signing an agreement very soon with Ministry of Agriculture and Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment to make sure that, yes, we make rice available here in Nigeria.
States were not left out at the launch of NEDEP and NIRP. Some governors were there, while some were represented by their deputy.
Mr. President, mine is to start by expressing gratitude to you. Gratitude for your commitment and political will for what is happening today. I commend you for your political will. We've seen policies like this. They are full in our archives, but we've never seen the will to implement them. So we thank you for the will. If you look at something like Bank of Industry, under your watch, it became from a failed government institution to a sort of government institution. I recall when I called Evelyn on a Sunday. I was the first governor to go to Bank of Industry. I called her on a Sunday. He told me he's going to church. I said, Evelyn, I'm a strong Christian and a Catholic, but what we are going to do is what we are going to church to pray for. So let's meet and deal with it. And she offered herself on a Sunday. And I can tell you he's contributed a lot to what we are doing. We will support you all the way to what you're doing today. But let me also plead, Mr. President, that the background of all we're doing today is that you make a policy for buying Nigeria.
What is more exciting to me is the micro and the small and medium enterprise program, because that is what will engender inclusive growth and development in this country. That is what will tackle the issue of the yawning gap that is existing now. That is what will bring the type of equity that will heal the soul of our nation. And I have no doubt in my mind that if we drive in this direction, and I must acknowledge that the MD of BOI has been excellent in promoting small and medium enterprise in this country. And I want to congratulate you for the team that you have put together. Our prayer is that this country, even in our lifetime, will be great. One cannot but have faith in the future of this country.
Your Excellency, Mr. President, I also want to join in congratulating you and members of the Cabinet for approving this wonderful policy that all of us believe in the next few years will uplift the standard and promote the general well-being of Nigerians. Our responsibility, I feel, as state governors, is to pledge our commitment to join suit in making sure that we implement this policy to the latter. And our commitment will come in so many folds. Like my colleague said, if we look around our states, we will see one of the biggest constraints that this policy will have is the issue of capacity of our people. So all of us as state governors should pledge and commit to develop the capacities of our people so that we will prepare them very well to key into this plan and into this policy as soon as possible. But to move forward, the most important thing for this program and for this project or this policy to succeed is that we should start it from the smaller ones, the small, medium enterprise, and move it to the higher one.
I must thank His Excellency the President for giving a nod to the Minister to produce this program. The micro and small medium scale enterprises had been very good in Ogun State also through the BOI, which gave us a loan of 1 billion. And to date, a total of 87 cooperative societies have benefited. 840 individuals also have benefited. And this has made it more imperative for those who are into the adire and the small-scale industries that we believe very much in Ogun State are making some revenue. These are areas that we believe are relevant today in making sure the evolution plan of Nigeria takes shape very well. And I think, Mr. President, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I must appreciate the opportunity given to us in Ogun State to showcase ourselves.
After all the speeches, the president formally inaugurated NIRP and NEDEP. In his words, he said NEDEP will help reposition the micro, small and medium enterprises sector, while NIRP will fast-track industrialization in the country.
The NIRP, which is the most ambitious industrialization program ever pursued by our nation, will accelerate growth in those industries where Nigeria has comparative and competitive advantages, such as the processing of food and agricultural products, metals and solid mineral processing, oil and gas related industries, and construction, light manufacturing services. These subsectors were prioritized because they will also generate jobs and tap into existing markets and demand in Nigeria. In each of these sectors, we will become #1 in Africa and in the top 10 globally because of our competitive advantage. Nigeria Industrial Revolution Plan and the National Enterprise Development Program will also give fresh impetus to our national transformation agenda by ushering in a new era of value addition, enterprise development, and industrialization. I sincerely believe that the Nigerian economy must be developed into one of the most important elements of our national strength and a major assurance of the future of our people. That is why we have been resolute in executing Nigeria's agenda for economic reform. We have refocused attention on micro enterprises. Over the last 12 months, the Bank of Industry has disbursed 10 billion naira to the smallest and most fragile businesses and at the bottom of the pyramid. As we look ahead to the future, sustainability and effectiveness are core principles that will guide our actions. We will not only sustain the momentum of both the Nigeria Industrial Revolution Plan and the National Enterprise Development Program, we will also expand their impact and reach. And I'm quite pleased today, before we came in here, that we went around and inspected the demonstrations and the items placed on display, from innocent vehicles, four-wheel drive and buses, to even the armored vehicles, including APCs, being produced here in this country, to the food products, soap, and other leatherware. I'm quite hopeful that Nigeria is on the track to greatness. Commemorating the official launch of the Nigeria Industrial Revolution Plan, NIRP, and the Enterprise Development Program, NEDEP, by me today, Tuesday, 11th of February 2014.
Checks were presented to some beneficiaries of NEDEP by the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment and the Managing Director of the Bank of Industry, Ms. Evelyn Oputu, supported by two of Nigeria's global ambassadors.
For me, I can only say it's a way to say that Nigeria, we are getting there, slowly but surely. Why? Because you cannot have a country that produces and we do not consume what we produce. I'll thank the minister of Mr. Aganga. I will thank him a lot, and I will also thank, BOI, the whole organization generally, because they've been doing this. I'm privileged to know that. And then for them to come down together, the only issue is I think that there's a way that we need to let our youths out there know the opportunities that has been done. Because up until when I got into Bank of Industry, I did not even know how much we were doing there or what they were doing to help out in the industry. So I think that that's the only thing I kind of feel. I think there's a way we need to carry the campaign and let all the youths know that, listen, NIRP and NEDEP is for us actually. It's to develop our industry. And just like the entertainment industry, if we develop every sector that we have, Nigeria would not only be the giant of Africa, but will be the giant of the world. But with the help of these two projects and this two plan that has been created by the president and ministers and Bank of Industry and the partnership, I would say that now we're about to increase our GDP, we're about to increase our job opportunities, we're about to increase our standard of living.
In time past, you would have heard a lot of small-scale, medium-scale businesses complaining that it's very hard for them to get loans and to access a lot of things that would help their middle-scale and small-scale businesses to survive because the rates in the banks are just too high. I think this is what BOI is trying to do, and specifically NEDEP. And so to see that, it was not just talk, but it was action. And some of the people I saw coming up there, you could tell were, small-scale business owners. And to see that they were being handed their checks, it wasn't like they were just coming there to give us all this lecture and all these plans that we were going to do, but they were actually actualizing it in physical. Was a very, very exciting thing. I saw the smiles on these people's faces. It would change a lot of lives, a lot of families, because when you talk about businesses, people tend to just talk about it as a business. You forget that is a line of lifeline. So that is somebody's business who's going to survive, who's going to employ so many other people, who's going to take care of so many other families, and it goes on and on. And so that is the transformation that I like to look at. The fact that families down the line are going to be sustained, and then they can be empowered to empower themselves and empower others. So it was nice to be a part of that.
Earlier on, the president took a tour of the Made in Nigerian products on display.
The governor, the sense about the people. That's great. How we patronize it?
So, the other thing, Mr. President, he has told us that he doesn't even miss his capacity requirement. So
the demand is
very high. So it's coming back from
Welcome back. According to John Maxwell, a leader is one who knows the way and shows the way to national prosperity. It is evident from the launch of these two innovative programs by President Dr. Ebele Goodluck Jonathan, it will not only fast-track industrialization, accelerate inclusive economic growth, job and wealth creation, it will also transform Nigeria's business environment and ultimately stop importation of what the country can produce locally, thereby conserving our foreign reserves. In subsequent edition of the program, we shall show you progress reports and indeed concrete development impact of these laudable programs. For us at the Bank of Industry, we shall continue in our creative ways to support micro, small and medium enterprises, as well as large enterprises as part of our commitment to transform Nigeria's industrial sector. Until we meet again next week, it's good evening and have an enterprising week.